I wasn't digging for dirt. That's the part that still makes my skin crawl. I wasn't searching for anything. I wasn't suspicious. I trusted her. We were sitting in the car, parked outside the grocery store. She had run inside to grab some oat milk or whatever nonsense she couldn't live without that day. Her phone buzzed twice, just sitting there in the cup holder, screen lit up, wide open. I shouldn't have touched it. I know that. But I did. The message popped up from someone named Derek. I didn't know any Derek. I'll pick you up in 15 minutes. Get rid of that loser today, and I'll move into your house. I'll be a father to your kids. It felt like someone jammed a fist into my gut. My lungs locked up. I read it again and again, but the words stayed the same. Get rid of that loser today. That loser was me. She came back to the car like nothing was wrong, tossed the oat milk into the back seat, leaned over, and kissed me on the cheek. I could feel my skin crawling away from her touch. She smelled like betrayal and way too much expensive perfume. I turned to her, slow and steady, calm, cold. I was gripping her phone like it was a weapon. Without a word, I held the screen up for her to see. The color drained right out of her face, like she was staring at a ghost. Except this ghost was still breathing, still sitting right next to her. What the hell is this? I asked, my voice tight and shaking from the pressure building up inside me. My knuckles went white around her phone. She froze, blinked, opened her mouth, but no words came out. She reached for the phone too slow. I was already moving. My thumbs flew over the screen, opening the rest of the conversation. Yes, baby. I'll be waiting for you. I stared her dead in the eyes and smiled. Not because it was funny, because something inside me broke, and that cold, dead smile was the only thing keeping me from losing it completely. Let's go, I said. Where? She whispered. I didn't answer. Just shifted the car into gear and drove. She didn't dare ask again. About 10 minutes later, I pulled into her parents' driveway. She looked around, confused. Adam, she muttered. I still didn't say a word. I got out, walked around, and yanked open her door. Get out, I said. Wait, Adam, please. Get out. Her mother came outside, waving happily at first, but her smile faltered fast. Is everything all right, sweetheart? She called. I didn't look at either of them. No, ma'am, I said. Your daughter's got herself a new man now. She's moving in with him. Shouldn't be your problem anymore. Her mom's face twisted into a mix of horror and confusion. Good. Let them wonder. Let them rot in it. I climbed back into my car and drove off without another word. I didn't go straight home. I parked about 2 blocks away, killed the engine, and sat there in the dark, watching, waiting. 10 minutes went by. Then 15. That's when I saw it. A silver Mustang rolled up and stopped in front of my house. Some pumped-up punk with a fresh fade and sunglasses at night, no less, jumped out, phone in hand, big grin on his face. Derek. He was just about to hit the doorbell when I moved. Not walked, stormed. My footsteps were thunder rolling toward the lightning. He looked up just as I got to him. You Derek? I asked. He smiled. Yeah, and you must be. That's as far as he got. My fist smashed into his jaw so hard, I felt the bones crack under my knuckles. He stumbled back into his car. But I wasn't done. Not even close. I grabbed him by the collar and slammed him onto the hood of his Mustang. Once. Twice. You want to play daddy to my kids? I growled. His face twisted in panic. He threw his arms up, trying to block me, but he was way out of his league. They always are. I didn't know she was married. He cried out, blood pouring from his nose. Bullshit, I spat, grabbing his phone and smashing it against the pavement. You were about to move into my house. She told you I was the loser. You have no damn idea what kind of storm you just walked into. By the time I let him go, he was coughing up blood and begging me not to call the cops. I didn't need to. I had bigger plans. This was just the beginning. I walked back to my car, fist throbbing, adrenaline thick in my throat. My heart wasn't racing. It was marching, heavy and slow, like a war drum. She thought she could just erase me, replace me. Not a chance. Now, I was in control, and they had no idea what was coming next. I didn't go back home that night. I drove for hours, aimless, just to keep myself from doing something even worse than rearranging Derek's pretty little face. My fists ached, but it was nothing compared to the hollow pit growing inside my chest. It wasn't pain anymore. It had turned into something colder, something uglier. I ended up parking at a gas station just outside the city limits. Found myself staring at the mirror above the sink in the restroom. My reflection didn't even look real. Bloodshot eyes. rage burning through my cheeks. I looked like a man who had just buried a part of himself. And honestly, I had. Brooke, my wife, the woman who was supposed to be my person. She was the one who held my hand when I lost my job, when the bills stacked up, when I was clawing my way back from nothing. We had planned a whole life together, growing old, gray, and laughing at the stupid stuff. Now she was calling me a loser behind my back, texting some dime store Romeo about raising my kids. I laughed. Sharp, bitter, ugly. She wanted a new life? Fine. But there were going to be consequences. When I finally pulled into the driveway just as the sun was coming up, the silver Mustang was gone. No blood left behind. No signs of the beating I handed out. Good. Let the coward run. I stepped inside the house. The silence hit me like a wall. It used to feel like home. Now it just felt like a stage, a cheap set built to fool me. The photos on the walls, our wedding in Maui, the boys' first birthdays, Christmas mornings, all of it stared back at me, mocking me. Every happy moment we captured now smeared with the dirt she dragged into our lives. I sat down at the dining room table, laced my fingers together, and just waited. The boys, Lucas and Caleb, would be up soon. I had to fake it for them. Smile like nothing was wrong. At least until I figured out my next move. Right around 7 a.m., I heard their little feet padding down the hallway. Caleb crawled right into my lap, still half asleep, head heavy against my chest. Lucas rubbed his eyes, dragging that worn-out stuffed bear behind him. "Where's Mommy?" Lucas mumbled. "Visiting Grandma," I said, without missing a beat. Lie number 1. My turn to start spinning stories now. I dropped them off at school like it was any other day. Pretended everything was fine. Pretended the world hadn't split open underneath my feet. As soon as I got back to the car, I called a lawyer. "Divorce?" the woman on the other end asked. "Not yet," I replied. I needed advice first. A strategy. And I damn sure needed to make sure she didn't walk away with the house. Or my boys. We set up a meeting for that afternoon. But before that, I had work to do. I headed back home and did what I should have done a long time ago. I searched everything. Her drawers. The closet. Her laptop. I wasn't proud of it. But pride was a luxury I couldn't afford anymore. Then I found it. Tucked away in a box of tampons, buried behind the bathroom cabinet. A burner phone. And what was inside that phone made my stomach turn. It was worse than I imagined. Months of messages. Filthy conversations. Photos. Plans. Her and Derek, not just sneaking around, but building a future behind my back. "You'll never have to work again," Derek had written. "I can't wait to wake up next to you and never see Adam's pathetic face again," she replied. Pathetic. That word cut deeper than any punch I'd thrown. She wasn't just cheating. She was erasing me. Replacing me, smiling to my face while stabbing me with 1,000 tiny knives. But I wasn't bleeding anymore. I was planning. And Brooke, sweet, lying Brooke, she didn't have a clue what was coming for her. By the time she finally came crawling back home 2 days later, I was ready. She strolled in like nothing had happened. Fake smile plastered across her face. Carrying a bag of groceries. Humming some god-awful pop song like she hadn't just tried to burn down our life and dance away in the ashes with another man. The sheer audacity made my stomach churn. I stood in the kitchen, arms crossed over my chest, leaning against the counter. Watching. Waiting. She finally noticed. The silence. The weight of it. Her fake little smile wobbled. "Hey," she said cautiously. "Everything okay?" I didn't answer. Just stared. She blinked. "Why are you looking at me like that? You really gonna pretend?" I said, my voice low and steady. Her mouth opened like she had something ready, some excuse, some lie, then closed again. That sweet, innocent act she wore so well cracked right down the middle. "Pretend what?" she asked weakly. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the burner phone, and tossed it onto the kitchen table. It landed with a soft little thud that sounded like a cannon blast between us. Her face drained of every drop of color. "Go ahead," I said. "Unlock it." She didn't move. "Unlock the damn phone." I don't know what that is," she whispered. I barked out a laugh, bitter and mean. "You must think I'm a damn fool. You hid it in a tampon box. Real classy, Brooke." Still, she stood there, frozen. No words. No lies. Just guilt written all over her face. So I opened the phone myself. Started scrolling through the messages. Read a few of them out loud, nice and slow. "Can't wait to feel your hands on me again. Adam's still clueless." That one stung. That one was real cute. I watched her lips tremble, not from guilt, no, From rage. Like I was the one who betrayed her. She had the nerve to look angry. You went through my stuff, she finally snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. I slammed my hand down on the table, so hard the salt shaker jumped a few inches. You lied to me for months. I shouted back, voice echoing off the walls. And that's what you're mad about? That I found the truth. She flinched at the volume, but didn't back down. That's who she was. The kind of woman who could shatter you with a straight face and still somehow act like she was the victim. I wasn't happy, she muttered. No shit. Affairs usually come with that excuse taped to them. I didn't plan it, she whispered, all soft and broken. It just happened. Right? I said, stepping in closer. Like falling into traffic. Or tripping straight into another man's bed. It was different with him, she said. And that one hit harder than I expected. Cut deeper. So you love him, I said. Silence. I nodded. Got it. Loud and clear. She finally looked away. Coward. You were so focused on work, on bills, on being responsible, she said. I needed more. I almost laughed. Almost. So being a husband and father wasn't enough? Paying for your car, your house, your goddamn oat milk wasn't romantic enough for you. I felt invisible, she whispered, tears pooling in her eyes. You were invisible, I said, cold and steady. Because the woman I married, the one who smiled at me on our wedding day, she's been gone a long damn time. She turned her head away, wiping her face like it even mattered anymore. Like her crocodile tears could wash away what she'd done. So what now? She asked, voice small. You want a divorce? I stared at her, long and hard. Quiet. No, I finally said. Not yet. Her eyebrows knit together, confused. Then what? I want you to stay here, I said. Move into the guest room. Tell the kids we're just going through a rough patch. Why? She croaked. I leaned in, close enough that my words brushed against her skin. Because I want you to feel it, Brooke, I whispered. I want you to drown in every lie you told, every fake smile you gave me, every time you let him touch you and came home pretending nothing was wrong. I want you to sit in this house and choke on your guilt. And I want you to watch everything you destroyed come crashing down, slow enough for you to feel every second of it. She opened her mouth, closed it again. Good. There was nothing left for her to say. I turned and walked away, feeling lighter than I had in months. The war had been declared, and I had no plans of surrendering. The days that followed felt like living inside a house made of glass. Pretty on the outside, hollow and fragile inside. Brooke stayed, just like I told her. But nothing about it was normal anymore. She moved into the guest room and put on her best act for the boys, smiling at breakfast, asking about homework, kissing their foreheads like she was still the same mother and wife she'd pretended to be. But I saw it. The cracks underneath the performance. The twitch at the corner of her eye when I didn't say good morning back. The way she flinched when I called her Brooke instead of babe. She was unraveling. Slowly. And I loved every damn second of it. I wasn't silent, though. No, silence would have been a kindness. I was polite. Calm. Deadly. I thanked her when she passed me the salt. Complimented her lasagna with a cold, emotionless nod. Even helped her fold the laundry. But every chance I got, I dropped little grenades in the middle of our conversations. Derek likes white wine, right? Didn't you wear this sweater the night you said you were with Sarah? Funny, our wedding vows said something about loyalty. She never answered. Just blinked hard, lips pressed into a tight line, eyes glossy with tears she wouldn't let fall. She was breaking, and it was beautiful. One night, I heard her crying behind the guest room door. The sobs were soft but real. Maybe she thought I'd come in, hold her, tell her it was going to be okay. Maybe she thought I was still that guy, the one who fixed things. But that man was gone, dead and buried. I spent my nights at the gym, burning off the rage, or sitting in my truck, staring down at the messages she wrote to him. I memorized every word, every disgusting sentence, because those words kept me sharp, focused. They reminded me that her tears weren't repentance. They were fear. Fear of losing her safety net. Fear of being exposed for what she really was. I started gathering evidence. Screenshots. Photos. Financial records. I wasn't going to be the idiot who got screwed in court while the woman who gutted our marriage walked away with the house and half of my future. Then came the letter. Just a cheap envelope, slid under the front door. No stamp. No name. Inside was a single photograph. Derek, standing outside our local daycare, holding a little stuffed bear, smiling like he belonged there. I stared at that picture for a full minute, heart hammering against my ribs. He was trying to get close to my kids. I tore through the house, checking every room like a madman. The boys were safe. Brooke was upstairs, dead asleep. But that image, it branded itself into my brain. The next morning, after I dropped the boys off at school, I waited. Waited until Brooke was standing in the kitchen, pouring herself a cup of coffee like it was any other day. Then I dropped the photo onto the table between us. "What the hell is this?" I asked. Her hand shook as she picked it up. I don't know," she stammered. "Don't lie to me," I snapped. "I didn't tell him to go there. I swear," she cried, eyes wide with panic. I stood up so fast the chair screeched backward across the tile. "If he ever shows his face near my kids again," I said, voice shaking with fury, "I'll make what happened last time look like a goddamn hug." She flinched. "Hard. I'll tell him to stay away," she whispered. "Please, Adam." I leaned in close, so close she could feel the heat coming off me. "You will tell him," I said, voice low and dangerous. "And if he doesn't listen?" I smiled a smile that wasn't friendly. "I'll bury him." She nodded, hands trembling so badly she nearly dropped the coffee mug. I turned and walked away before I said something even worse. But right then I knew. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about protection. It was about pride. It was about finishing what she started. On my terms. The problem with betrayal is, it doesn't end where you think it will. You catch the lie. You confront it. You bleed. But it keeps echoing. It lives in every glance, every breath, every step through a house that now feels haunted. You see ghosts where there used to be smiles. I wasn't done. Not even close. After that picture of Derek at the daycare, I kicked everything up a notch. No more waiting. No more reacting. I wanted to know everything about this punk. Where he lived. Where he worked. Who he slept next to at night. Hell, I wanted to know what toothpaste he used. So I called in a favor. Jax, an old buddy from high school who'd taken a darker road in life. He owed me, and he knew how to dig up dirt without ever being seen. "I want everything you can get on this guy," I told him. "Where he sleeps, who he talks to, every skeleton he's got hiding in his closet. I want leverage." "You think he's dangerous?" Jax asked. "He's either stupid or insane," I replied. "I thought he could replace me." Jax smirked. "This might be fun," he said. And he wasn't lying. Within 2 days, he handed me a folder thicker than a high school yearbook. Derek was a disaster on legs. Maxed out credit cards. 2 businesses sunk straight into the ground. Debt collectors crawling all over him. One ex-girlfriend who filed a restraining order back in 2019. And get this, he didn't even own that silver Mustang. It was registered under some shady fake LLC. The guy was a walking lie. The kind of mess Brooke used to laugh at behind closed doors. And now, she was rolling around in bed with him. I didn't show her the file. Not yet. No, that was a weapon for later. For the day she tried to play the victim. Or worse, tried to take my kids. But before I could even use it, something in her started to shift. She started cooking again, asking about my day, cleaning the house like she could scrub the shame off the walls. A few times, she even stood in the doorway to our bedroom, just watching me, like she was trying to find the man she used to know. I pretended not to see her. One night, she held out a plate. Grilled salmon and asparagus, my favorite. "I made your favorite," she said, voice soft, hopeful. "I'm not hungry," I said without even looking up. "Adam," she whispered. "Please." I set my book down, locked eyes with her. "What?" I said flatly. "You think dinner's gonna fix this? You think asparagus is gonna make me forget you were building a whole new life while sleeping next to me every night?" The tears welled up again, her favorite weapon. But this time, she didn't turn away. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "No," I said, standing up. "A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You built a double life. That takes time. That takes effort." She opened her mouth to argue, but I was already walking past her, straight into the garage. I needed air. Space. Anything that wasn't her. I sat in my car, staring at the wall, fists clenched tight around the steering wheel. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Message. "We need to talk. Brooke isn't who you think she is. Neither is Derek." My heart froze mid-beat. I stared at the screen, thumbs hovering, mind racing. Typed back. "Who is this?" Response. "Let's just say, I've been where you are. Meet me tomorrow. 9 p.m. parking lot behind Seeger's Hardware." I read it once. Twice. 3 times. First thought? Trap. But my gut said otherwise. Something about the tone, the timing, the cold shiver running down my spine. It felt real. Like someone had just tossed a lit match into a forest I thought I'd already burned to ash. So I made my choice. Tomorrow night, I'd walk into the dark. I needed to know just how deep this hole really went, because by then it was getting pretty damn clear. Brooke wasn't just a liar. She might be something a whole lot worse. The night was thick, hot, humid, and dead silent. Even the crickets seemed too scared to make a sound as I pulled into the back lot behind Seeger's Hardware. A single busted street lamp buzzed overhead, throwing broken shadows across the cracked asphalt. 9 p.m. sharp. I killed the engine and sat there for a second, hand resting on the glove box where my old Beretta was stashed. I wasn't stupid. You don't answer mystery texts without some kind of insurance tucked close. Then I saw him. A man stepping out from the shadows near the dumpster. Tall, lean, hoodie pulled up, a red Sox cap tugged low over his eyes. His walk was slow, deliberate, like he'd done this kind of thing before. I opened my door but stayed behind it, the metal between us. You the one texting me? I asked, my voice cold and even. He nodded once. Name's Logan. Why the hell are you contacting me? He glanced around, checking the lot, then stepped into the thin cone of light. That's when I finally got a good look at him. Mid-30s, pale, with heavy, sleepless eyes. The kind of face that had seen too many bad nights in a row. I was married to her, he said quietly. I stared at him, heart skipping a beat. To Brooke? He shook his head. No. To Derek's ex. Her name was Jenna. Brooke and her, best friends in college. Soulsucker twins. That one hit me harder than I expected. Brooke had never once mentioned a Jenna. Of course she hadn't, because Jenna knew too much. Logan's voice stayed low, but the words chilled me to the bone. Jenna caught Derek cheating on her, with 2 different women. One of them was Brooke. The air around us seemed to drop 10 degrees. And it didn't stop there, Logan continued. Brooke helped him run scams. Fake businesses. Bogus real estate deals. She even posed as a client once to help him get a phony investment loan. I shook my head. No way, I said. But even as the words left my mouth, I didn't believe them. Not anymore. Logan pulled something from his jacket and tossed it onto the hood of my car. A flash drive. Small. Harmless looking. Deadly. Everything's on there, he said. Phone calls, emails, bank transfers. I've been collecting it for 3 years. He leaned in slightly, voice harder now. Derek and Brooke aren't in love. They're building a way out. And they're planning to leave you with nothing. My fist clenched against the hood, shaking from the rage boiling inside me. Why are you giving me this? I asked. Logan's eyes went dark, hollow. Because I lost everything. My house. My kids. My sanity. I let them get away with it. He paused, voice thick with regret. You still have a chance to stop it. Then, without another word, he turned and disappeared back into the shadows. Like he was never even there. I didn't go home. No way. I drove to a little diner that stayed open all night. Ordered a black coffee I barely touched. And sat in a booth, just staring at that flash drive like it might explode if I moved wrong. My heart felt like it might crack my ribs as I finally plugged it into my laptop. Folders popped up instantly. Organized by dates, names, transactions. Detailed like a damn government investigation. Then I saw it. A video file, timestamped just 3 weeks ago. I clicked it open, hands trembling. The footage was grainy, but clear enough. There they were. Brooke and Derek, sitting across from each other in some rundown motel room. Brooke's hair was pulled back. She was smiling. Smiling like she hadn't already gutted me and our family. All the paperwork's tracked to Adam, she said, grinning. Just make sure everything's filed before the 15th. Once he signs it, he won't even know the money's gone until it's too late. Derek laughed. You're evil, Mads. She leaned across the little table and kissed him. Only for you. I slammed the laptop shut so hard the whole booth shook. My jaw locked tight enough I could taste blood in my mouth. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was a setup. A long, careful, surgical hit designed to bleed me dry and leave me with nothing but dust. And now? Now it was personal. They wanted a clean getaway. But what they were gonna get was a firestorm they never saw coming. By the time I walked back through the door of my house, I wasn't the same man who left it. Something inside me had snapped. Or maybe it had finally settled into place. The sadness, the heartbreak, the humiliation. They were still there, buried deep. But now, they were locked under something sharper. Strategy. Focus. Rage cooled down to a razor's edge. Brooke was sitting on the couch, pretending to read a book. She looked up when she heard the door. Surprised to see me home so soon, or maybe surprised to see me at all. "You're back," she said gently. Too gently. "I am," I replied, hanging my keys on the hook like it was just another night. Just needed to clear my head. She watched me carefully, looking for guilt, looking for weakness, looking for regret. She didn't find any, because there wasn't any left. "I ordered Thai," she offered, hopeful. "Your favorite." "Pan and curry." I nodded, casual. "Great. Thanks." That night, I played along, ate the curry, watched some dumb cartoon with her and the boys, even laughed at a stupid joke Caleb made about superheroes. I was calm, measured, but inside, I was lining up the dominoes. By midnight, when the house was dead quiet, I moved like a ghost. I slipped into the guest room, found her purse, and dug out her phone. Still no passcode. Too cocky. Or too damn stupid. I forwarded everything. Every email. Screenshots of messages with Derek. Calendar entries. Bank alerts. One message hit me like a hammer. "Once he signs the equity papers, he'll be out of the picture." The next morning, I made the call. "Logan." "It's me." "You watch everything?" he asked. "All of it," I said. "You ready?" "Oh," I replied, voice ice cold. "I'm past ready." We met again, this time in broad daylight, in a busy park full of people. No shadows. No back alleys. Logan handed me 2 thick documents. One was an affidavit from Jenna, detailing every scam, every fraud, and Brooke's role in helping Derek launder dirty money. The second document Logan gave me was a notarized statement from an ex-employee who used to work for Derek's fake LLC. Piece by piece, I was building a weapon. And next, I needed an audience. I booked a meeting with my lawyer, told him everything, laid it all out: videos, screenshots, financial records. He leaned back in his chair, stunned. "You realize," he said slowly, "if you play this right, she won't just lose custody. She could face criminal charges." I nodded once. "Good," I said. "Let her rot." But the hard part wasn't over yet. I had to keep playing nice. Smile when I wanted to scream. Pretend things were getting better. Just for a few more days. Brooke smiled more too. Started wearing makeup again. Caught herself checking her reflection in the mirror when she thought I wasn't looking at it. Probably thinking she was winning me back. She had no clue she was walking straight into her own funeral. Friday morning, I got the alert. Derek had wired $50,000 into one of the joint business accounts Brooke and I shared it. One she thought I never paid attention to. But I had flagged it, tracked it, knew exactly where it came from and exactly where she planned to move it next. I waited until dinner. Family dinner. Me, her, and the boys. Chicken parmesan. The good plates. She even lit candles. Maybe she thought she was stitching the family back together. I let the boys finish eating. Excused them to go play. Then I dropped the bomb. "You should tell the boys now," I said, pushing my plate away. She blinked, fork pausing midair. "Tell them what?" she asked. "That you're leaving," I said. "For good." Her fork clattered against the plate. "What are you talking about?" "I've seen the videos," I said, voice calm and cold. "The fake accounts. The money you helped him steal. The hotel meetings. The plans you made to wipe me out. I know everything, Brooke." Her face drained white, all the way to the lips. "Adam." "No," she whispered. "No more lies," I said sharply. "No more crocodile tears. No more pretending while you poison everything underneath the surface." She stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. "You have no proof," she shouted. I slid the flash drive across the table toward her. It stopped right in front of her trembling hands. "Logan says hi," I added casually. She collapsed back into her chair, staring at the flash drive like it might explode. Her fingers hovered over it. But she couldn't touch it. Wouldn't. "Logan," she whispered, eyes wide. "You talked to Logan?" I leaned back in my chair, arms folded. "Yeah," I said. "He had a lot to say. And a lot of receipts." Brooke pressed a hand to her forehead, trying to force her world back into order. I could see the gears grinding inside her head. But the queen was cornered, and she knew it. "You're making a huge mistake," she finally managed, voice shaking. "Am I?" I asked, deadpan. "You think this will help the kids?" She shot back. "You think dragging their mother through hell makes you the good guy?" I slammed my palm against the table, loud enough to make her jump. "Don't you dare bring the kids into this." She flinched. "You were ready to leave them," I hissed. Ready to trade your own sons for a guy who can't even keep a business alive for 6 months. You were ready to hand their future to a goddamn con man. So don't you dare try to pull the mother card now. Her face hardened. The tears dried up like flipping a switch. The real Brooke was finally showing. Cold. Vicious. Cornered. So what? She spat. You want revenge? You think that's noble? You think the judge is going to care about your little show? I smiled. A slow, cold smile. I don't need a show, I said. I've got evidence. Testimony. In time. Every breath you take in this house? I'm the one allowing it. But that ends tomorrow. You can't kick me out of my own home. She snapped. It's my home, I growled. Paid for with my money. In my name. And as of this morning, there's a restraining order pending your response. She stared at me, pure rage twisting her face. You bastard, she hissed. I stood up, grabbed the flash drive off the table, and started walking away. Where are you going? She shouted after me. To finish what you started, I said without looking back. 3 days later, Brooke was gone. I stood at the living room window and watched her load the last of her designer bags into the back of her sister's SUV. No tears. No goodbye. Just one last seething glare through the glass. Like I was the villain in her little story. I smiled and waved. Real slow. Real proud. A week later, the judge granted me full temporary custody. Brooke's visitation rights were suspended until the fraud investigation wrapped up. And Derek? The DA's office was building a case so thick you could stack it to the ceiling. Bank fraud. Identity theft. Mail fraud. Real, hard time. And Brooke? Her mug showed up on the local news once the investigation went public. I saved the clip. Watched her go from neighborhood sweetheart to social outcast overnight. Some nights, I still sit on the porch, trying to wrap my head around it all. How the woman I married became a ghost. A ghost wrapped in perfume and secrets. How she smiled while lying through her teeth. How she kissed me with the same mouth that whispered betrayal behind my back. But then Lucas runs up, waving his school project. Or Sophie pulls me down to show me a crayon drawing of the three of us standing under the sun. And I remember what matters. They tried to erase me. But I didn't just survive. I won. So here's my advice to anyone out there. If you ever find a message like the one I did, don't just confront it.